What's going on, New School Classics fam? We're back with an update today. We're in the garage. We got the C8R behind us. But if you'll notice, there's something missing right where the camera's at, the Slingshot R. Unfortunately, guys, I had to get rid of it. It just wasn't doing it for me. The original idea behind the Slingshot R purchase was for passive income to rent out on Turo. Unfortunately, Turo is just not happening. So let's talk about Turo and why it didn't work out. Well, you got a lot of slingshots on Turo, number one. A lot of people are lowballing themselves just to get rentals. So they've set the bar low already. And when I originally wanted to rent this out, I was thinking, I'm gonna rent this thing out for 300, maybe 400 a day. Well, there's no way that's happening because everyone else has set the bar too low already. So basically you gotta price your 30K slingshot at about 150 a day. Now, the way Turo works is you can get insurance through them or you can opt out of it, okay? But obviously you want to get the insurance because you can bet that people are going to damage your slingshot. So there's different levels of coverage you can select. So say like you want medium coverage, okay? Now you're gonna get 75% of your trip profit, and the other 25% is going to Turo to cover your insurance. But with the medium coverage option, you still gotta pay a $750 deductible for any damage claim that you wanna make with Turo. So imagine you're only making, maybe about $100 after Turo's cut for a rental, and on your first rental, somebody damages it. Well, now you gotta come out $750. Now you're in the hole. So that's not a good way to go. So they kind of force you into getting their maximum coverage, which is the 60-40 policy, which means you get 60% profit, they keep 40% of your profit. And now you have zero deductible. So now you're only making about 93 a trip if you're pricing your slingshot at 155 a day, which is what I was doing. But turns out you gotta understand the type of people that the slingshot attracts, okay? It just attracts the wrong kind of people, okay? They usually don't have respect for your stuff, and they usually want to rip the back tire off of that thing and drive it like a crazy person would. So, at least you don't have a deductible, but now if you have to make a claim every rental, now you've got to make sure you document it correctly. You got to make sure you catch all the damage before you make the claim, which is something that happened to me often. I would find some damages, right? Then I would make the claim, but then after I made the claim, I would then find more damages and it would be too late. I would then have to eat that extra damage I found, which sucks. And it's like, if you keep doing that and missing the damages, by the 10th rental, your slingshot is gonna be a POS. So, I just decided it wasn't worth it anymore. My last rental, I got lied to. You got adults out here, grown adults, signing legal contracts, bold-faced lying. In the contract that I had, it says you must know how to operate a manual transmission car. And people will just straight up lie on that legal agreement, saying they know how to operate it when they really don't, because they're really wanting to learn how to operate stick shift on your car. So that happened. I got bold-faced lied to, and then the audacity of the girl, when she brought the slingshot back to me, snitched on herself and admitted that she didn't know how to drive it And then she admitted that she tried to take it over 150 miles an hour. These things won't even do 150 miles an hour, but she's sitting there bragging basically about doing dangerous stuff, and then how she lied to me. She was bragging about it. So, boom, had to make a claim on her because there was some damage. There was a puncture in the seat. There was a scratch on the seat. And my policy covers everything down to a scratch. So I'm not just going to let somebody get away with that. So, and Turo is a review-based platform. So, I can leave her a review. She can leave me a review and all of this. So turns out the clutch was fine. Nothing was wrong with it. It is a single plate hydraulic clutch. So if anything, she just overheated the fluid probably, But the scratch on the seat and the puncture in the seat really sucks because that hole in the seat's only gonna get bigger. And Turo compensated me. They did their estimates with their adjuster or whatever. They gave me $25 for the seat damage. So I was fed up at that point, and I said, this is obviously a losing game because, if I'm only making $93 a rental and I gotta babysit every renter, I gotta pull out the I gotta pull out the polygraph, I gotta do all this crazy stuff. I gotta put a tracker on it that can track speed, I gotta do all this crazy stuff. And then I'm only making $93 a rental after that, and then I still gotta worry about maintenance. I still got to worry about, the angle drive. I still got to worry about the belts. And, I can do the oil changes, but all the other stuff, Polaris at Indian Motorcycle are going to have to do. And they charge like $150 an hour. So it's like once you factor in the damages that you're going to miss, once you factor in all the trouble and headache you're going to be dealing with these guys on Turo, and you factor in, all the maintenance you're going to have to do and the potential $150 an hour maintenance you're going to have to do. I mean, you're basically renting this thing out for free. You're basically renting it out as a public service. So that may have not been the case if I was able to get, maybe $250, $300 a day. I may have seen some profit in that price range. But like I said, people on Turo with slingshots have just set the bar too low for themselves. And now we have to compete at the low bar level just to get rentals. And I tried to set myself apart with the manual version. My logic was, okay, I probably should get the automatic because it'll get rented more as an automatic. And then people won't have to worry about having to know how to drive standard. I won't have to worry about getting the gears grinded or the clutch abused or whatever. But my logic was getting a manual is only people that know how to drive standard are going to want to rent it, which means usually people who know how to drive standard are some kind of car enthusiast at this point in time in 2022. So I'm thinking, if you're a car enthusiast that know how to drive standard and you want to rent my Slingshot, chances are you're going to take care of my stuff. As opposed to an automatic, you might just get some soccer mom that doesn't know anything about driving, isn't a good driver at all, and then she's going to be like ramping curbs and stuff in the automatics. So that's why I went manual trans, thinking that that would deter some of the non-driving people from renting my stuff. And turns out that was flawed logic because now my vehicle became the lesson vehicle for people to learn with, turns out. So had to shut that down quickly. I traded it in, and guess what we got? The Slingshot is forever gone, but that's right, we got another Super Sport. So here we have the 2022 Suzuki GSX-R 1000R. And they had quite a few bikes over there. They had some Ducatis. And I was even thinking about getting an ATV, a YZ450R. But unfortunately, I don't have a truck or really any place to ride it. So that went out the window real quick. So why not get another Super Sport? Me and my wife can go ride together now. and it'll be fun. But let's talk about the 2022 Gixxer 1000R. So it turns out there is a base model version of this bike, which is just the Gixxer 1000. So they had that one there, and that one was about 15. And then they had this one, which is the Gixxer 1000R. So it comes with some much better suspension up front, much better rear suspension. I believe some of the internal components are different. Maybe some titanium rods or something in there. Looks like there's definitely titanium headers, because I can see the blueness in the headers. And they offered this bike as what they called a hero build, something I've never heard of before. But they added a bunch of aftermarket parts on it already for the price of $20K. So I must have got, about 2,000 worth of upgrades on this thing included with the bike for $20K. So it came with the slip-on Akrapovic right here. It's got some nice little carbon heat shield right there. Came with the undertail kit, clean undertail, the flush mount blinkers, and you probably can't see them too well, but the Rizoma stealth mirrors and the Puig dark smoke windscreen. So came with all those upgrades, basically from factory. What a great deal. It sounds amazing. Really cool bike. I do enjoy riding it. It's not broken in yet. We might go for a ride here in a little bit to put on some of those break-in miles. Got the Brimbos up front. You do get steel braided brake lines. I love the blue rims on the front and back. And just a really great feeling bike. The quick shifter on it is just butter. I mean, I've never felt such a buttery quick shifter until I rode this thing. So that's where we're at, guys. No more Slingshot. Turo seems to be a losing game, at least in this demographical region. Maybe you'd have better luck somewhere in like Vegas, where it's sunny most of the time. See, because here you got to deal with the cold in the winter. It's not going to get rented in the winter time. It's very rarely going to get rented in the fall. And then you got spring and summer, and it rains half the time. So, it's just, I wanted it to work out. It just turned out to be more trouble than it was worth. So we have added a new super sport to the family. We're gonna leave this one pretty much the way it is. I am gonna put a Evotech radiator guard on the front and some rear spools on the back, and that's about it. And this bike is gonna be ridden by primarily Danielle once I get my tuned R1 back in the garage. Still waiting on that. In the meantime, I get to enjoy this, and it's a great bike. I highly suggest you get one if you're in the market for a 1000cc super sport. You can't beat it, especially for the price. So awesome. Let's go take it for a ride. All right, guys, if you want to see the bike, watch the next video. I'm gonna end this one right here. That way we can do two separate titles. So this will be kind of like the Turo update, the Slingshot update, and then we'll follow up with the next video of the new 2022 GSXR 1000R break-in ride. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. New School Classics.